What's up, you majestic, beautiful, wonderful people of the internet? This is Trade Talk. My name is Heath. We're going to do the FX Weekly Outlook video today. We're going to be going over the most relevant FX pairs that I'm looking for the setups for the week to come. We're going to start off with the JXY index. Excuse me. As you can see, we had that nice push down last week that worked out flawlessly. We were looking for that to happen. We got that move. And as you can see, the Japanese yen index is now pulling back. What is up, Janet? What is up, Brad FX, Toyo, Ryan Fan? Thank you guys for showing up. We're going to absolutely find some setups. So what I'm going to be looking for on the Japanese yen index is for it to come, it can come all the way up to 95.30. There is a slight gap to fill above that, all the way back up to 95.50. This has been respecting this descending trend line. Excuse me, I forgot to turn the sound off of my phone. Let me do that real quick so we're not being aggravated. All right, so it has been holding pretty good up until, we don't know what's going to happen this week, obviously, but what I'm going to be looking for is for it to trade up back up into this area and for sellers to re-engage this market. All right, so basically what that's going to look like is, let's go to the USD JPY. As you can see on the USD JPY, it's been flawlessly trading around about the same exact thing. Now, this doesn't necessarily indicate USD strength more than it indicates JPY weakness. All right. So basically, I just want everybody to understand that that's how FX pairs work. You know what I'm saying? The dollar has been a little bit strong, but this is more JPY weakness. So this is that pullback that's happening on the JXY. So it'll be going up, and the yen pairs will be going down. That's just a pullback. So on UA, where am I at? Where did I just had it? There it is. So on this, basically, we have already tested this beautiful, marvelous, majestic market structure right there. All right. We tested that on Friday's close. We are open. The market is officially open, and there's not a whole lot of movement, which is good. That means there's no nasty gap downs or anything, or gap ups even, for that matter. So we're going to see what happens. It can fail here as far as I'm concerned. It can come all the way down to 105.072, 105.072. If it comes all the way down there, that'd be a great spot to look for a buying opportunity, looking for this thing to keep traveling higher. Now, that would be a fantastic swing trade if that were to take place. So keep that on your watch list for this week. That's USD JPY. My dad used to tell me something when I was a little boy. He said, son, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is not broke, so don't look to fix it. Wait for this thing to pull back to 105.072 and look for a buy entry there. Remember, we wait for candlesticks to close above the level. That indicates that it could be possibly getting ready to work out. So moving forward, the Euro USD. I took a small trade on the Euro USD Friday against the trend. All right. The only reason that I did it was simply because, well, let's face it, it had to be shorted. We were struggling up in this area here. Obviously, I'm looking for the Euro USD to get a bid under it if the dollar starts to roll over. I don't know if the dollar is going to start to roll over or not, but this was the sell signal. Obviously, you came back up into this and you rejected. Once you made this little push up back up into that 5-minute candle, I got short, boom, and I was targeting low of day. This was the low of day. Once we got down into this area, I exited the position in total. And it was a phenomenal trade because it worked out absolutely flawlessly and basically had no pullbacks in the whole mix. So we did come down to this area right here where we did find support. If I go out to a larger time frame chart, you can see basically what we did last week was we popped up higher. We are testing all of this resistance. All right. That doesn't indicate that the move has failed. It can come all the way back down to 1.20925 and find support and move higher. This has been moving pretty good for the last couple of weeks. So if it's choppy all week, that would be normal price action. So there isn't any levels to get on in 8 hours. So we'll go into an hourly time frame. Just give my internet time to catch up. It's already pushing higher. All right. I tend to not like these original moves, So this thing could be starting to roll over, or it could keep going higher. We don't know. I don't see anything on an hourly chart why it found support there. If I go into a smaller time frame, I'm sure you will find a reason why. But this could just be a small push up into this area to roll over. All right. I would love a deeper correction down to 1.20861 to look for buying opportunities on this if it decides to get down there. All right. There's no guarantee that it will, but we will keep an eye on that. The pound dollar has been absolutely on fire. It has been the strongest pair last week and the week before. So basically it's opening strong again, but this is pretty strong. Like, obviously it's moving up that hard because it is stopping out all the shorts that were lined up at this 1.37 level in this area here. So you even came back down and got a slight retest of it, not quite all the way down, but then you've moved higher. So basically you're just going to be looking for pullback buy entries on this thing unless it shows something else happening, like, I don't know, a big red candle that just blasts through all the lower high supports that you have on the chart. These are all, or higher low, sorry, these are higher low supports. Each one of those areas will offer up relevant areas to look for support. First one being 1.38568. As long as we're not failing below that level, I will look for buying entries on the pound. It doesn't have to come all the way down there. All right. But just keep that level on your chart. We'll go find an hourly chart just to get in the middle of that area and where current price is now. So we have one right here. I like it. It's beautiful. 1.39578. Let's see if we trade down into that area and roll over back to the upside. This thing is absolutely bullish. As long as it's bullish, you have to keep trading it to the long side. Let me get rid of that ticker tape. All right, sweet. What's up, Enet? What's up, Jeffrey, Zeeble, Kenneth Moon, Elias, Bargy, Cerebrus? Apologize if I destroy your name. It's not on purpose. Thomas Hemphill, Jay Bradley. What's going on, everybody? Jay Bradley's like my Padawan if I was Luke Skywalker. Yeah, he's asking me a lot of questions. He's starting to understand the strategy. He's doing really good. I'm loving it. I like seeing the guys do good in the chat room. All right, so we're going to go check out silver real quick. Gold's not really on my radar. Silver is basically trading sideways, and it's absolutely annoying me. Give me 1 second. Which one? Jeffrey. All right, let me find this. All right, what's up, Heath? Alan, how do I get his charts? Who is Alan, and how do I get his charts? There are two Allens. There is an Alan AU who's a member of, he just watches Jordan's live streams every morning, and he's on Twitter at Alan AU, I believe. Let me go see if I can find him real quick. He's very, he posts a lot, and I believe it is Alan AU. That's where you will find him. And the other Alan is in the chat room, in the C.T.M. Chat room. Basically, you just have to be part of that room to get his charts. So I will, before this stream is over, I will find Alan AU's exact ticker handle, Twitter handle, so that way you can find him. He posts a lot of charts on there as well on Twitter. All right, so basically this thing's trading sideways. I left this trend line on because it is, for some reason, still acting like it's holding price for some reason. We had a big nice push up, and then, you know, we're right back in that level. So you can see that on last Sunday's stream, I put this area at 27.81 as the weekly target to the bullish side. You can see that target was smoked. All right. And you had a big, strong bearish candle that came in right after that, and it's been trading sideways ever since. So I am looking for this target to be taken out on the bullish side of things. Now, as you left a lot of liquidity up there, that level is going to be 27.956. All right. So yeah, looking for support anywhere in this area where it's trading right now. Maybe get rid of this white line. That white line is an old weekly market structure level. You can see you got an area right here at 27.0 or 27.106. If you get a test down into that area and a failure, look for that area up there. That would offer up a good risk to reward if you could get your stop underneath that right there, aiming for that 27.95 level. I am expecting silver to break out of here. because the bears have had every opportunity to push this thing lower, and you can see they're not able to. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I am still bullish on silver. My puts or my calls are still valid at the $30 area, but they will be expiring next week. So hopefully this thing starts to move a little bit. Gold has been weak, and we broke out and we took out the bearish weekly target on gold. If you remember, last Sunday, this was the target. It was marked in red. For some reason, I wanted to delete the red line, the white line, not the red one, but we used the white line. That was the bearish target for the week of last week. That was a beautiful target, took out, trade completed. It was a phenomenal trade. We were looking for that. Basically, we were looking for both sides of the market, obviously, because I always do, but we had our target to the bullish side and our target to the bearish side. And I was looking for the bearish target to be taken out. You can go back and watch last week's video. That's exactly what I said, because gold is a lot weaker compared to silver. All right. So moving forward on gold, if the bulls don't start to get involved here, this thing's just going to keep trading lower. So every pop in price is going to be looked at as a selling opportunity. All right. So you can look for this first level right here at 1812.65. If price trades back up into that area, look to see if that holds as a resistance. If it does, look for 1760 even to be your bearish target of this week. All right. So from that range to this range, beautiful target. Moving on, S&P 500 sold off a little bit at the end of the day, Friday. We are still waiting for this thing to push higher. Yeah, it didn't really, this could be a buying opportunity, but I would like price to get up underneath these wicks to clear out all that liquidity. If we could get that, like possibly a test down to 38.40, that would be absolutely phenomenal. And I would look for a buying opportunity on that area as long as it's showing me that it's holding as support. Aussie yen is absolutely mooning right now. There's nothing to do. This is an 8-hour chart, and you can see, man, that was one of the best trades of the year. It has not stopped. We had this consolidation right here. As soon as you broke out of that, you came back in, you retested it, and you have since left. There's nothing to do here. We'll go in here and see if we can find a smaller time frame. Yeah, all this stuff is below it. Let's go look at an hourly. All right, so we have one right there. It's a doji. I do not like using dojis, but we'll put it on the chart. 82.352. It's going to be the very first area that we want to see support hold. You say that you want to find support to hold up here and you want to buy it, go ahead. I'm not. I like to buy pullback entries, nice big pullback entries. You could have two big fat bearish candles and make it all the way down to 82.352. So I'm going to be looking for that area to come into play. If it doesn't come down there, if it just keeps moving higher from where it is right now, then obviously I will leave it alone. It's okay. You don't have to worry about missing trades. You'll hear me say that a million times because there's opportunities in these markets every single day. Kenneth Moon, Hugo Heath, Elias Borgi, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Alan AU11, thank you, Justin Parker. That is the ticker symbol for, or not the ticker symbol. That is Alan's Twitter handle. Yeah, he posts some relevant charts on Twitter, and you can find him there. Thank you so much, Justin. Just turning in, thumbs up. Thank you for your time, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up, J20 Trading Co. I'm just going back real quick. All right, looks like we're all caught up. Joy. Thomas Hempfield says, I am long NZD USD. Kiwi has been so strong these past few months. I'm targeting 74. All right, let's go have a look at it. I thought I had it on there. I do not. I have the NZD yen. Let's go get the NZD dollar. We absolutely want. And all right, so yeah, you were showing weakness, but you never could close below this range, basically. I tried to get long this a couple times last week. It was the week before last, and I was just getting chopped up in all of this. So you did have a nice big strong move out of there, but what we want to see Well, you don't because you're already long, but a pullback would be nice. So that way people that aren't long can get long. So I'd have to go all the way into a 15-minute time frame to find the first areas. And there's another area down there. So we'll mark this one. If I can get my thing to work. 72, 0 spot 72370. Obviously, there's one up here. We can look for this to come into play first. 0 spot 72668. Either one of those two areas, I would look for support, test, and hold. Anything lower, then I'm going to have to let it suss itself out, simply because it has been a little range bound for the past couple weeks, but it is looking very strong. And I also have AUD NZD because this looks good to me as well. Now, this thing isn't really going up or down, but it is trending nicely in both directions. So I don't know if it's going to continue doing that. It's possibly going to be a range-bound trade for the next week or two until either the NZD figures out if it wants to do a breakout or the AUD finds out if it wants to do a pullback. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. But we are into an area of support. I didn't find anything that was causing that. Let's go in and see if we can find it on a smaller time frame real quick. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of bearish candles in there, but I'm not going to dig through all that. We'll just say, yep, it's finding resistance right there. Now we want to pull back. So I have this level marked out down here. It was already tested, but that level is 1 spot 07193. 1 spot 07193. Going to be looking for that to pull back into that area. I'm going to watch price to see what it does. It can absolutely pull back as low as 1 spot 06668. 1 spot 06668. Either one of those two areas of failure to close an 8-hour or a daily candle below, we'll be looking to get long that. Now, if your trade works out, Thomas, then obviously that thing should keep going lower. All right, it shouldn't hold at those two areas. So you can absolutely watch this pair too to decide whether or not you want to get out of that long trade, determining how things work. All right, because I'm not a fortune teller, so we will have to wait and see what happens. Aussie dollar was just extremely strong, broke out last week. It looks exactly like the Aussie yen, so there really isn't anything to do. Remember, especially on the yen pairs, we are waiting for this thing to maybe go up higher before it rolls over. If it rolls over here, there's really nothing to do because none of the yen pairs, the only yen pair that's giving you a trade right now is the dollar yen. The Aussie yen is not, and the pound yen is not. Nothing is giving you a trade. The dollar yen is. If you look at it, it's like it's already pulled back beautifully. You have already had 2 8-hour attempts to close below. I don't know if I'd count that one as the third attempt. It did touch the line, so yes, it was a third attempt. Now, the C.T.M entry would be after you take out the high of this bullish doji. However, that would be a very wide range for a stop loss. So if you were to take that trade, you would be looking at something like that. So you would almost need this thing to go all the way up to here just to get a 2-to-1. So, I mean, if that's your style, go for it. That's not my style. My style is to get that entry close as I possibly can to that white line. So I will be watching this pair tonight. I usually don't do that. I usually wait till the New York Open, but it's already done tested 3 times. So, I mean, it's not going to keep giving you chances. Eventually, it's just going to take off. If it starts to trade below that, then I won't. I'll wait for the next one lower. All right. So yeah, those USD CAD. Oh yeah, I got short on USD CAD last week. Right here on this red line indicates my entry. Yeah, unfortunately, this trade worked out to here. I was waiting for that line to come out. Let me get over here. All right, so this is where I entered. I entered on this push up. All right, we took out that liquidity. We even traded up into that, but we didn't close above it. So it was still golden. And I was looking for this low right here. That was my target for the exit of the 2/3 position because that was the last low that was made on that bullish push up. And we got that. So as soon as we went down in, once it traded down into there, it exited my position 2/3 because I already had a limit order to buy back 2/3 of the position. Once it got down there, and you could see it clearly came back and stopped me out, and then made this beautiful entry during the Asian session right there. And that was the trade, because boom, I don't usually trade the Asian session, but you are more than welcome to do it if you like. That was a beautiful trade. That trade already took place. Now we're just basically seeing what's going to happen. All right. Now we have not taken out that massive target to the downside yet. This is a massive target to the downside. So what I'm hoping for and what I'm praying for, hope and praying is not a decent strategy, but I'm looking for a pullback down into the bottom of this daily candle. And I would like to see that to start to roll over on an hourly time frame. I will get short, possibly targeting this low, because that low has not been triggered since it made that low. So you tried to, when you came down into here, nope, but any push up in price is looked at as a selling opportunity. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Any push up in price, I will be looking to sell into that, targeting 1.25890. When will I no longer be looking to do that? If we close the daily above 1.27854, then I will not be looking for that target. So price can trade all the way back up to here, and I will still look to short. That's just how I roll. I mean, once you get above that, then obviously this up here is going to be the target. But as long as you're trading within this area, this is going to be the target. So I wouldn't be surprised if that target gets knocked out tonight. Swissy Yen, I got this on here because there is something very awesome that happened last week. You can see this last high that was put in back on July the 3rd, 2017. Okay, we'll call it July the 5th, 2017, had not been touched. We took that out last week. That was beautiful. Last week we took that out. Boom. And then you have since sold off. Now, there is a daily level right here that it closed below, and it even closed below the market structure. So I'm going to wait for price to pull back to the 117 spot 223 area. If we get a pullback down to here, I will be looking for this thing to fail if it's going to remain to be bullish. Now it can absolutely trade back up into this area and close back above that level at 1.176 or 117 spot 677. If you get that move, then any push down back into that area would be looked at, in my opinion, as a buying opportunity, targeting obviously the last high that was put in at 118 spot 873. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let me go over here and look at the euro pound, because I forgot that I had that on there. I did definitely want to take a look at this. This purple line is just a traditional support area. You can see how all those candles were able to close below it. We are testing that area. We have been testing it for longer than 2 days now, and you have not been able to close it daily below that. So this is a very overextended play to the downside. You can see that it's clearly massively oversold on a daily time frame, but it can be oversold on a daily time frame and mean nothing. So basically, we're going to see if this 0 spot 86495 area gets a jump up out of there. All right, if you do, then you can look for more selling opportunities until you get, up in here or something. And the only thing that I see making this thing bullish is if the pound gets weak. That's it. It's been so weak versus the pound since it traded out of this. So maybe it's ready to turn around. We don't know. That's usually what Forex does. It just basically trades side to side in huge ranges. So it could turn around here. I'm definitely not bullish on it. As long as the pound is super bullish, this is going to continue lower. So look for a pullback. First area to see if you get a support or a resistance test, it's going to be that daily bullish candle. Let's get rid of that white line. That's going to be your first area to look for a resistance hold at 0 spot 87590. If you get that, you could look for a sell back down into that area. If you get a daily closure above that, then just let this thing play itself out. All right, you could throw a trend line on it, like, I don't know, something like that. So if you get a daily closure above that trend line, then you can stop looking for sell trades. All right, and that's pretty much all I got on the FX pairs. So I'm going to roll it back over here to the green list, and I'm going to look at some comments. Alan Bristol, CTO. Yes, chat room. Alan. Yeah, Alan is on Twitter as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. He is absolutely on Twitter as well. But yeah, he's one of the main guys in the C.T.M community. So thank you for that. Really appreciate that, Justin. Ryan Fan, please explain how do you use inside outside candles when you are trading? Do you wait for a few candles to bounce off support before jumping in? Yeah. All right. So outside day candles are looked at as reversal candles. They don't always work. All right. It doesn't always work. Basically, all an outside day candle is it's a candle that takes out the previous candle's high and low. All right. So if you get that, like you can see on this one right here, that's a beautiful, beautiful exact what outside day is. That is it right there. Or in this case, it would be considered a bearish engulfing. So if you ever hear anybody say about a bullish engulfing, this right here, no, not a bullish engulfing, but it's exactly the same thing, only to the bullish side. So you must take out the high and the low of the previous day's candle to be considered an engulfing. I call it an outside day, and they're usually looked at as reversals. And this one right here worked beautifully. But like I said, they don't always work. So yes, if you get an outside day like this, basically what you want to do is go into a smaller time frame and look for a bearish candle on like an hourly about mid-range to that or a little bit above it, and look for that area to hold as resistance. So that way the chart can roll over and continue to play out its down trending pattern. All right. And also we have a beautiful example of an inside day right here. So if I put just a line right here on this candle's high and a line right here on that candle, the same candle's low, you can see that this bullish candle traded with inside of that candle's, the previous day's candle's range. That makes that candle an inside day candle. So there's only one other kind of candle, and that's this candle right here, which is a trending candle. A trending candle only takes out the previous candle's high or low. So this is a trending candle. This was a beautiful setup. If I would have been watching this pair and I would have seen this, I would have been looking to short this liquidity purge right there on that wick, because that's all that was. You purged that liquidity resting above that high, smoked everybody that got short or long on this, boom, they are gone. So that's the most epic, perfect setup. Trending candle into an inside candle into an outside candle. You need no other pattern to look for in the markets. Trending candle, inside candle, outside candle. Beautiful, beautiful representation of that model right there. And that's what I'm looking for. Yep, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What's up, brother? South Brooklyn Motto. What's up, my man? Kenneth Moon. What's happening? Like and shared. Appreciate that. The Orange Cowboy. That is a beautiful hat, by the way. Good job, Heath No Fluff. I love it. Yeah, you're not going to find none of that stuff on this channel, my man. Not going to find none of that. Could you take a look at Euro CZK? That is something I've never traded. Absolutely, though. CZK. Let me get rid of those caps. Why are they on there? It is a pair that is tradable on Oanda. All right, so let me back up out of this thing real quick just to get a glimpse. Looks like it was trading under a peg at one point in time, but obviously that peg failed. That's a peg. If you ever see price action that trades exactly on a perfect line, that's a peg. And a peg is just something for you newer traders. A peg is just like the bank says that they're going to peg their currency to a specific price point of another currency. So basically people will always look to buy that. But when price is trading so close to that peg, yeah, I don't look for them to hold forever anymore. Once the euro Swiss pound, that pair traded, once that peg failed, a lot of brokerages went out of business. So let's go over here and see what we got. Looks like you are in a downtrend. After this big, super massive push to the upside, you've been basically consolidating to down. This is a weekly chart, so you are in a weekly downtrend, all right, for this past several months. So basically what I would look for is that would be the main area at 26.15350. If I get a weekly closure above that level, then we have to wait and see what's going on. Any push up into that area and a back off, and that point I would be looking at a daily chart. All right, any push up into there and signs of failure would be looked at as selling opportunity to run down beyond these lows. The reason trends continue is because you need less volume to keep a trend moving in the same direction. All right, that's why lowering volume is usually looked at as a bullish for like the S&P 500. When the volume's getting lower, price just keeps slowly making a grind up. It takes a massive amount of volume to turn a market around. And then once you get that reversal, so this is not a reversal. This right here is not a reversal. It's a near-term swing low, but it is not a flat-on reversal. All right, so that's what you new traders need to get into your start to pay attention to. These markets move in waves. All right, they move up for corrective phases, and then you have your impulse leg to the downside, corrective leg, impulse leg. This is nothing more than a corrective leg. We are looking for this to find resistance at some point and look to sell that. And right there would be the first spot to look. This, you can put this line on your chart. That's that weekly zone. The way I like to do my weekly zones is I make them absolutely white as snow, and I make them fatter like that. Boom. That's my weekly market structure. So that's what determines this right here, the little light gray line. That just tells me that's a normal area, normal something that I can delete today. But the fat white ones, those are weekly structures. So that'd be the first area, 26.05250. Absolutely, you are failing right now. Let's go see why. All right, so you came into this price structure right here. All right, so you did get a close above that. Let me get this back right. You did get a close above that right here, and then you failed. If this 8-hour candle cannot close back above this bullish candle's opening price, and that price is 25.91210, I would look for that as a shorting opportunity, looking lower. If you do get that closure above that level, this is a no trade zone. You have to wait for price to move up at least to this bullish candle or to this daily structure. All right, but you can see you've already pushed up. This market is open. If I go into a smaller time frame, this market is open. So you already attempted to push up and you've already been met with selling pressure. This thing doesn't trade very much liquidity, which is, you know, we can see that by these little very tiny range 1-hour candles like that. So this is already being sold. Yeah, this looks like a decent short for the week to come, targeting 25.64255. That is your lowest area. That is where the buy side liquidity is. All right, so you got willing sellers down here, willing sellers at a lower price. That's always good for you if you are in that position. Can we have a little talk of the importance of a weekly close candle? For example, if it very slightly broke the previous week's open, sure. All right, let me get off that craziness pair and go over here to a week. Yeah, so weekly closures I do put a lot of weight on. All right, and you can see that this was obviously a bullish candle at some point last week because you got a wick that took out this high of the prior week's candle. So this candle was green at one point in the week. Then you had a huge push down, and look where you closed. So this thing is more bullish than bearish when you have action like that. So you did close almost right at that price point, which is the opening price of that candle. That is what we call in the game as the weekly opening range. All right. That's not the opening range. That's the closing range. That's the closing range of that weekly candle. So that line, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't dilly-dally around that for a bit, which is that gray line right there. So if you dilly-dally around here a little bit and you start to fail, it's probably going to head lower. But remember, I'm looking to buy this thing if it gets down to 1.20870. So that could come into play because my ultimate bullish target is this right here. Now, that doesn't mean by any means, that means nothing. That does not mean that you can't short this just because I'm bullish. I could absolutely be wrong. I do not know which way it's going to go. But that is my target on Euro USD for this week. All right, so let me find that comment. There it is. Aaron C. Weekly close, for example, slightly broke the previous week open. Yeah. So in that case, basically, I'm just watching smaller time frames. All right. Because you're not going to get this weekly close, obviously, until Friday. So, I mean, if you're looking to take a position trade, like if you would have got long down here looking for this thing to move higher, then you're probably still long. So anytime you, in my opinion, anytime candles like to dilly-dally around the previous opening or closing price of the previous week, then something's probably about to change. All right, so basically this looks like an attempt to get short and then a pullback, right? Because the candle closed red. No matter what, it is a very tiny itty-bitty bodied candle, but it did close red. And that's a data point that we have to realize. So this wick lower could just be a pullback. All right, that's all those wicks are. That doesn't necessarily imply bullish pressure. When I start to look at a weekly candle implying bullish pressure is when that weekly candle closes bullish. All right, if this weekly candle would have closed up here or up here, we would be having a whole different conversation on this weekly candle. So as of right now, it closed bearish, and you have to keep that in mind as you go into the trade week this week, looking for this weekly range. Now, this was almost an outside range candle, so we could trade inside this weekly candle this week. So we won't know until it happens. But that level is going to be an area to watch because price will play around those levels, and it might have a few fake outs before you get the actual expansion direction. So basically, when I'm taking trades like on a daily chart, I'm looking for the daily range expansion. My intraday trades, I'm only looking for a daily candles range to expand. So for instance, if I'm looking to trade today, I would be looking for this candles range to expand higher. Or if I'm short, I would be looking for that range to expand lower, and I'll be looking for the previous day's low at the very least. You can do that with a weekly chart. Same strategy. You're looking for this weekly candles range to expand to the upside or to the downside. I'm still bullish on this asset because it's still structured to the bullish side. This was that weekly high, right? And you haven't been able to close a weekly candle below that, and you've been down there. You pushed deep into that, and you closed way up off of that. And you did it again. You traded back down into there, and you closed way off of that, which is why I'm looking at this more bullishly than bearishly. And I'm looking for that weekly high to be smoked. That is going to be my short-term target, ultimately targeting that high way up there. Boom. And that would be a phenomenal swing trade. You could possibly be in that trade for months. But that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. I would obviously take 2/3 of the position size off if we got that push higher, because the 1/3 position size that you leave on as it trades up into your ultimate target, that trade will pay you more than the initial trade. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that helps, Aaron. I hope it helps. I might have absolutely just not answered your question. If I didn't, then just let me know in the chat. NZD Yen, what do you think? All right. I didn't look at it. I just looked at it quickly, but so this was the pair I was looking at. No, that's the weekly chart. This was the one that I told everybody when I was looking for yen strength to kind of look for it, and it gave us this fake out. This was a bull trap. I mean, a bear trap. You got that closure, and this is a daily close below that market structure swing low right there. Boom. So sellers were looking at this as a pullback, looking to get long, looking for continuation to the downside. Once you took out this candle's high and you closed above it, any pullback at that point into that area is an opportunity to buy. All right. Why? Well, because you had the bears were in control. They smoked the liquidity below there and they closed strong to the downside. Once you took out the high of that candle and then the next high closed above that high, any pullback back into that area. And if I put this right here, what do you see? It's not an absolute flawless, beautiful test, but that would have been a buy entry. That's what I'm trying to teach you all on this channel. Looking for stuff like that. That was your area to buy. If you got in on that, you've just been holding. And we are looking for the yen to continue to the downside, which would ultimately, as long as the base currencies that are trading against the yen remain at least a little bit strong, they're going to keep moving higher. But I would like to see that pullback. Would like to see a pullback, at least into this swing high. All right. And when I say swing high, a lot of people call this a swing high. This is a swing high. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. It's the very highest point of price for it turnaround. So that would be your swing high. But I'm looking for swing high candle bodies. That's the structure. This up here means nothing to me. Yes, it is a target, but that's all I use wicks for, as targets. So once you took out that target, this thing is done. Look for a pullback in the 76.446. Make sure you hold that as support. Wicks through it and closes above are perfect indications that the support is holding. Look for this thing to continue higher. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and this thing has been doing nothing but going up, kind of like Bitcoin. You could start your trend line from that line. Let's see what that would look like. Right there. All right, that gives you more of a parabolic trend. But yeah, any pullback into that area, look to see if it holds. Like I said, wait for the wick to push through. Because if the wick pushes through, people are going to think that that's going to be a failure, and they're going to look to short the breakout. And they're probably going to be wrong, because it could trade all the way down to here and then pull all the way back up in the last 1 minute of that candle's life. You know what I mean? I've seen it a million times on a daily time frame. Candle be way down here and then just have a big, huge spike up, getting back above a particular market structure area. So that's going to be your first level. All right. And then obviously a second level would be down here, at which point that trend line would no longer be valid, but you would still be bullish from this trend line right here. So I'd put something on that like that on my chart. All right. And then anything out here and lower, then this is possibly rolling over. But you're only looking for buying opportunities on this as long as you're trading above that trend line. I like the strategy on USD CAD. Yeah. Unfortunately, I missed a great trade on it, but I'm looking for a pullback on that. Looking for a pullback to get short on USD CAD. What's up, Stefano? My man. How about USD Mexican? Yes, I absolutely trade this thing. Absolutely trade it. And it is doing something different. It is starting to get on my radar. Loving it. Obviously, that's from old stuff. I have more lines on there than. All right. Yeah. So once you broke a daily candle and you closed above this market structure swing high, that was obvious resistance. Test failed. Test failed. Test failed. Test failed. And then you got the breakout. Boom. All right. So you traded back down into that. Now you're back over it. So this is your new market structure level to watch, because that is old news. All right. Looks like it's catching some resistance with these wicks. So how you would go approach this is, since you're just now starting to roll over, hold on, I screwed that all up. Since you're just now starting to roll over from this what looks like a low, because this is a daily chart. So that looks like a low that is being made. All right. And you have confirmation by a higher high and a higher low. So you're looking for bullish entries as long as you're trading above this trend line. Going into a smaller time frame, you will find session candles to look for retests of. Right here is one that was not retested. I mean, this candle did, but once it left the area, it tried to get down there with this one. Basically, it got bought up just when it tested these highs. If you see that with my cursor, let me put a line on it because I know YouTube is going to make this thing blurry as hell when it uploads it. I do not know why, and I cannot find the fix. But you can see that it held that wick and then it left. That means the buyers are getting jumpy. They're just front running actual structure tests. And you're moving higher currently, so you got to wait for a pullback. I know it sucks, but you got to wait on that. And that is going to be the target for this week. You get a pullback down into 20 spot 22462. That's going to be my target on a swing trading basis. And that's what I like about USDMXN right now. It's forming a breakout pattern. If you get a breakout on a daily time frame of this thing on a daily, then your next area is going to be up here, right there on that wick. That's going to be your next target. So we'll mark both of those green. That way we know both of those are targets. Just like that. 20 spot 60155 is the first target, but you got to wait for the pullback. Don't just buy it up here, please, because it can fail up there and roll over and look for the higher low support to fall into place. You can see you have that higher low support, another impulse, move to the upside, look for a higher low support to be formed again. Boom. That will be your entry to the upside. Now, if you fail and you get a daily closure back below that level, you can still look for this area down here to hold a support. So we'll mark that line red for you. You can mark these lines up on your chart. You can pause the video and get it on your chart, right? A daily closure below 19 spot 965, meaning that line there, then I don't know if I like this to the upside anymore because it is structured bearish. All right. But you are making a higher low and a higher high. So if you make another higher high, then you do have a trend. And then a lower low would be, or I mean, a higher low would be look to be bought. But I would front run that. That would be my trade right now because I don't mind losing 1%. I smashed last week and the week before last, and I'm not even going to tell you the numbers. It was just, I don't even have to trade this week or next week or next month just from the pound yen trade alone and the Euro USD trade, just smashing these setups. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. So yeah, as long as I'm trading above that trend line, I'm targeting these two areas up here. And then anything closing above there and a pullback into that area would be another opportunity to look to get long again. Looking for this thing, see if this is your rounded bottom. So hopefully that helps. See, it just glitched out and I lost that. Let me find it back. Just give me a second. All right, there it is. BTC, ETC, Bitcoin, ETH, and Link. All right, no, that's the wrong one. There's ETH. So ETH is looking like it's doing fine. This is the weekend. The real volume will come in tomorrow around the New York or the London Open this morning, and then in the New York Open, the bulk of tomorrow's volume will be in. So we have to wait and see what's going on. I do got some higher areas up here, but we're already trying to close below that one. So that one is no longer valid just because we, tested it multiple times. I have no idea what I did there. Let's go see if we can find it. All right, it's an hourly candle. So my next area that I'm going to be watching for a test is 1855 spot 36. We get a push down into there. And as long as we're failing to get below there, then this thing's going to probably head higher. We did have that pretty nasty wick low that happened. I'm sorry. I'm hearing something in my headphones. I had me going crazy there. But yeah, that was a pretty big move down. It was just basically a liquidity purge from anybody that got short on or long on any one of these higher low support areas. So they probably got liquidated. The fact that it's rolling over almost sort of on an hourly time frame, it's not, I wouldn't be concerned about that, man, because like I said, it's the weekend. It's the weekend. There's a lot less volume trades on the weekend. I've seen massive move happens on the weekend, but the most of the volume will be traded on tomorrow by the New York Open. So we'll have to see. That's my first area of support, 1855 spot 36. I'm only bullish on this. I'm only bullish. I am not looking for any bearish trades on ETH. Now, where is the Bitcoin stir? There it is. Look at you, you phenomenally beautiful, marvelous asset. Bitcoin is so beautiful. All right, and we're having a retest on an hourly time frame. I'm pretty sure, yeah. All right, so that's an 8-hour market structure level, right? Or 4-hour, apologies, 4-hour. Right there, 56,543, spot 92. 56,543, spot 92. That would be my first area to look for support, test, and hold. And then obviously this one down here got tested multiple times. Why did that line just pop up red? What the hell? Oh, because I moved that line, didn't I? All right. So yeah, next area of support test is 55,741, spot 87. I'm looking for one of these two areas to hold a support. If it fails to hold support there, it's no big deal. I will simply go into a smaller time frame, such as an hourly, and find an hourly closing bearish candle below that wick low. And then that would be my next area to look for a support test. That level is 56,526.80, spot 91. 526.80, spot 91. We'll be looking for that to hold support. All right. And then link. All right. Link USD. Let's go out here to a daily. It's been doing the same thing as everything else. You did have this little bit of a rounded bottom down here and you pushed higher. That was a bearish close. So we could have another bearish close. All right, so that's the first level, 32, spot 59 on link, which is just right here at these highs. I am in the mindset that I don't like to buy these upper areas of support because, in my opinion, the risk to reward isn't big enough for me to take the risk. So when I take a trade, I'm looking at my risk to reward. Is it big enough? Is there enough reward for me to enter the risk? And up here, it looks almost like there's more risk to the downside until it finds higher low support. That's the trade on these things. You get bullish impulse moves higher, you look for lower or a higher low support to form, and that's where you enter. Wick low, enter. Higher low, enter. Higher low, enter. You don't buy highs because that's where the sellers are looking to sell. You don't necessarily want to buy their positions. So wait for a pullback on Link USD. I would love to get one all the way down to 27 spot 66380. And since we're talking about cryptos again, and I have no problems talking about crypto because I did get the Forex out of the way. I want to go into this real quick. ETHBTC. Now, I was reading an interesting article yesterday from a guy who has a pretty decent sized following on YouTube, and he's looking for this thing to find support. All right, I am too. It has been trading up, even though the Bitcoin's moving up. This thing has been too. Now, since Bitcoin made its second leg to the upside, obviously ETH has been coming off a bit, but you got a perfect area of support to look for right down here at 0.030852. That's ETH BTC. All right, so if ETH BTC loses that area on a daily closing basis and starts making lower highs and lower lows, then this thing is probably going lower. Well, at that point, it is going lower. It won't probably be going lower. Hold on, give me a second. All right, so I'm looking at this first area here. All right, so we are pushing lower than this, and we did get a lower close than this on yesterday's candle. All right, that level is 0.03457. I'm actually looking for this to push back up in there. I'm looking for this to be like a fake out move. Now, if we get a strong bearish close on this candle tomorrow, this is not a fake out move. It's hard to find if something's going to be a bear trap or if something's going to be a bull trap. There's really no way to tell. Basically, what you have to do is you just have to wait. Like in this instance where I'm assuming this may be a bear trap, and if it isn't, that's okay because I got another area of support to look lower, which that, in my opinion, would be the better trade. Obviously, because that's where your risk would be located right below the low of that candle if it turns around first. If the liquidity gets purged and then it turns around, that's even better. Then you just slap that low, your stop right below the low of that candle and ride out. So if this is going to be a bear trap, basically you'll get a close down here, and then Tuesday's candle will be like a big, strong bullish push up out of that area. As long as you get something like that with continuation, then might be looking for pullback entries to get long after that happens, because then that basically gives you a little bit more validity as to taking that trade. Excellent, Heath. Thank you from Kenneth Mood. Yeah, you're welcome, Kenneth. You're welcome, Jonathan. Absolutely. Everybody, you guys are great. Appreciate it. That was great. I did not see any of that. I was thinking short. Hey, Matt, let me tell you something, my man. I could be wrong, bro. I can be wrong. I am not a fortune teller. You could be right. I could be wrong. That's just what I'm looking for to happen. All right. Doesn't mean I'll be right. Hey, Heath, what are your thoughts on the UK 100? All right. Let's go check them out. Let's go check it out. Obviously, we'll look at the CFD on Oanda because I'm an Oanda guy. I reached out to Oanda to get a link, but they never responded, so I don't know how to take that. I don't even care. I was just saying. I'm always got my Oanda. I don't have it open right now because I wasn't expecting a trade, but all right, so you can see that we were looking for this area to hold a support, all right, and we never got that. I mean, you closed way below it, and you even closed below this, but then you immediately turned around, and then you held that level of support. So you're pushing lower. Look for a support test of this area right here, 65, 63, spot 60. All right, this sharp downward move means nothing. Don't let that stuff scare you. That means nothing. That doesn't mean that the bears are in control. They were in control, but that will all change possibly when you get to 65, 63, spot 60. If you even get down there. So you have a swing high right here, and swing highs will cause areas of support, guys. So you are currently testing it, but I don't look for that to hold. I could be wrong. I like that level lower. I like that daily area. Now, remember, don't just buy it when it comes down into there. You must wait for daily closure to close back above it. And preferably what you want to see is like a wick down to the level and then a strong close above it. Like, a few pips above it, many pips above it. Like here, anywhere here or higher is great signal. Great signal. I'm bullish on this. This thing's been moving higher. Let's go check it out on a monthly. It's bullish. So, I mean, this was March. I mean, you had a big sell-off coming into this before March, but I basically don't even pay attention to the March candle because it was so insidious and terrible. Now, you can see that the opening price of that March candle, you have not been able to close above. So that's interesting. There's only 5 days left on this monthly candle, bro. So let's wait and see what happens. All right. 5 days. Can you wait 5 days? Let's see where this monthly candle closes. If you close above this opening price, then look for bearish pullbacks to get long, looking for higher low support to form, obviously looking higher. This thing's moving kind of like the S&P 500, except it's not made new highs yet. It's a lot weaker, but it is moving out of there. So, yeah, on the shorter time frame, look here first. Let that be your first area to look for support test. Obviously, if you slice through that and you get daily closes all the way back down below 65.10, just hold off. Just hold off. That on that monthly candle, and it's 5 days away, that would be an ultimate, like almost, that would be a great bullish signal for this asset. A close above that would be a beautiful beautiful thing, because closures matter. If you haven't seen it already with all of my videos, closures matter. Closures are what matter on all time frames. Even the 5-minute. I don't execute my trades on a 5-minute until I get them closures that I want to see. I hope that helps. Excuse me. Thank you very much. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you for being here, Panos. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. You guys are so awesome. The challenging part is the trade execution, the timing of it, because the tight stop losses. Yeah, it's not for everybody, Brad. My style of trading, catching those intraday scalps, it's not for everybody, bro. The C.T.M method that Jordan teaches how to swing trade is a phenomenal way to learn how to swing trade. That basically takes all of the aggravation of looking at smaller time frames, and also I find a lot of new traders get really emotional when they're trying to find those trades. So it's best to absolutely become a profitable trader as a swing trader, and then maybe set a little money off to the side to possibly try to learn the scalping aspect of it. But I've only ever been a scalper. Only ever. I also swing trade. Obviously, I take trades looking for those positions to continue. They don't always work out, obviously, but that's just what I'm good at. What sticks, what works. That doesn't mean it's for everybody. Does not mean it's for everybody. I'm giving you guys at least a week in advance expansion range to look for coming into the week. That's what this whole session's about. Me to try to help you guys find an area to look for a weekly range expansion to possibly get in on a trade. That's it. And then maybe the next couple of weeks it keeps expanding higher and higher, and you get that monthly expansion. But that monthly expansion obviously will be from 5 days from today. Friday will be the closing of all these monthly candles. Hi, Heath. Any view on AVE on LRRC? Thank you for saying that. Yes, I told somebody last night that I was going to look at these for them, and I absolutely forgot. So I am so thankful that you reminded me. Thank you so much. Let's look at Coinbase, AVE USD. There's not much data on Coinbase's chart, but I hate Binance calculated by TradingView because it's all so wiki. It's hard to get specific price points and levels. So it looks like you're rounding off right here. What am I doing? So this is going to be your first your market structure swing low. You're currently testing it. All right, so basically what you would want to see is you wanted to see a daily closure back above this swing high right here, this market structure. All right, get a daily closure above that, then look for pullbacks, look for areas for when the price to pull back to get long into. That would give you more of a signal. Right now, the signal isn't so bullish because yesterday's bullish candle, even though it closed bullish, and this absolutely could be a pullback. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll go into a smaller time frame chart. All right, so this is that big bullish daily candle right there. All right, now you have pulled back most of that move, but look what you touched. That bearish candle right there. Boom, wick down into it, and you traded away. I don't like the fact that it's trading range bound now, and your range obviously is this area right here if I put a square on there. But as long as you can't close below 420, 420, then look for this thing to move higher, because that would be your impulse, correction, impulse. All right. So that's AVE USD. It's ultimately bullish. I mean, if you throw a trend line on this thing, it's going to be a parabolic one. That one isn't, but anything other than that, like from that low to that low, I mean, there you go. And you're pulling back on the RSI too. You haven't made it quite back down to the 50 read. I like them when they get down to the 50 read, because basically that means the bulls are still in control of the asset and the oscillator has reset. This could take off in the next few days. Keep a close eye on AVE USD. All right, I like this thing to move higher. Absolutely. Looking great for a bullish trade, but you gotta just find that area. First area to look is that 420 spot 035 area. If you can't wait and you're super anxious and you have no patience, see if that area holds. All right, That area is 429.958. If you can't close not that one, sorry, this one has lower closes. If you can't close an hourly candle below that, you can go ahead and get long and put your stop against that little area right there. But I do believe this thing's going to head higher. It looks like it's charging up for another bullish push. And ultimately, that will probably hedge on or depend on what Bitcoin's doing as well. So if Bitcoin starts to sell off massively, then obviously these things will too. And we'll use Coinbase on this too. I have no clue what I was doing with that. All right, so it's still respecting that trend line. This is your last bearish. That's your last area. As you can see, it's been tested on multiple occasions. So I would be happier taking a buy entry at 0.56680. All right, 0.56668. This daily candle right here, but it's daily. I mean, it's so bullish, man. It's not giving you really great. I mean, that was a good buyback entry, but I would rather buy it down here close to this trend line on a newly untested level as well, because that smokes the liquidity resting below that low and that low. All right, just a quick wick down into there basically triggers out all that liquidity and gives people more liquidity to buy into. And then you could possibly see a higher run on this. I do not think Bitcoin's going to start crashing anytime soon. I think Bitcoin is going to keep going higher. I don't know if it's ever going to stop. There's nothing technically, no analysts, no analysis. There are no indicators except for that one indicator everybody's talking about on Twitter. I don't care about that thing, man. Yeah, it got lucky and called a top or two, but there's a few times it didn't call a top or two. So you have to count those times too. Indicators lag price. Just watch price. But according to it all looks nice and strong. Look for pullback entries into one of those two levels. Me and USD are talking at the minute. Yeah. Thanks for breaking down the UK 100. No problem. Dinkar, it's my pleasure. Silver opened with a gap on the 5-minute time frame. Is there a solid entry if the gap gets filled and then resumes back up? I don't. One of the main one of the main reasons why I went with Oanda is because Oanda doesn't show gaps. All right, so I can go into a 5-minute chart with Forex pairs. Now, you're probably seeing this gap right here. Let me see. Yeah, 1800. That's what time this thing opened. So, yes, this is the gap you're probably seeing, possibly. Would I look for that to be filled for an entry long? Yeah, because there's a 5-minute market structure right there at 27.24850. So, if this is a gap on somebody else, on some other charting software platform or data feed, yeah, look for a pullback into 27.24850. As long as you're closing 5-minute candles above that, you can look to get long, and you can put your stop right underneath this low right here. But don't risk more than 1% ever, or 0.5% if you're new. All right, because it could keep going lower, and just because you buy on a candle that closes above it doesn't mean that the next candle or the next candle or the next candle won't close. It's about probabilities. Trading is about probabilities. As a new trader, once you understand the fact that this is all random, everything that happens in the market is absolutely random. You can have the best technical analysis strategy on the market, which is why I would never pay for anybody's courses, because it's random. And there's enough information on the internet to teach you technical analysis. Technical analysis works. I use it. I consider myself a price action trader. However, I know that it's all random. I know, yes, there are multiple occasions when I look like a trading god when these things trade right into my level and trade away. But I don't know that's going to happen, obviously, when I take the trade. It's all random. It may fail. So that's why you never risk more than 0.5% or 1%. I can get you on the right side of the market in most of the calls that I make. However, you have to keep remembering that everything in the market is random, nothing but randomness. So All right, guys, I think that's the end of the comments. Let me just go make sure. Market is random. Sorry, pause that nonsense. All right, hang on a second. All right, so I'm completely lost on the YouTube chat. Oh, no, I'm right there. There you are, Panos. Yeah, all right. ADA. Brad FX, do you monitor yield spreads for insight on currency moves? Nope. I don't monitor any news. I don't monitor anything. I only monitor price. Price tells me everything I need to know. Basically, those news items and all that other stuff is just noise, in my opinion. But please don't take that the wrong way. You can look at it. You know what I mean? That's just what I do. I don't even look at the current the calendar anymore, unless I'm looking, at NFP or something massive like that. But regular little medium event news items, I don't even look at them, nor do I care about them, because the way that I feel, honestly, with my experience, is that they use the news to push the market down if they're looking to buy, to get everybody thinking it's going lower, make a lower high support, and the market moves up. So just stick with the trend and look for those. If you're looking to buy a market, any impulse to the downside, look for support to hold there and look to enter those. Those are always great places to enter. The news will help push the market down there so people can get long to buy it. But ADA, yeah, I'll go look at ADA. I'm getting ready to wrap it up, but I will go look at ADA for you. Oh, let me get off the 5 minute. Yeah, ADA was strong yesterday. Big, nice, strong close. I don't know what I got those two levels there for. One of them is a 4 hour. All right. So these are the two areas I like right here. These two up here. One spot 035 and then 0 spot 927. 0 spot 927 is this 4 hour level down here. And then the upper level, I don't like it so much, but if it holds up there, hey, it's bullish. This thing is bullish. You can throw a trend line on it. You can tell it's bullish. Absolutely phenomenally bullish. And once again, for any new subscribers or anybody that's new to the channel, I take my trend lines by using the wick lows. My style of trading takes out all the subjectivity of trading. How? I wait for candles to close. There is no subjectivity in a candle's closing price, and there is no subjectivity of a wick low tack for a trend line. So if I move this up here to this wick low, you can see there are no wicks lower than that area. Therefore, price breaks down below that and closes below that. There is no subjectiveness to that. You have broken that trend line. And that's why I use trend lines like that. As long as this trend line's still in play, dude, look for lower highs or higher low support. SNX, yeah, I'll take a look at SNX. Yeah, it's looking like it's having trouble. That's okay. It's consolidating up on highs. You're still up above this market structure right here. This 4 hour bearish candle. You're still trading above that. As long as you're trading above that, this thing is bullish. And this is the same thing. I mean, you could throw a trend line on that too. It's beautiful. It's just bullish. Boom. Oh, no, it's not. It did broke below that on a 4 hour. All right. So you have lost your trend line. No big sweat. No big deal, because even if you lose a trend line, as long as you're still trading up, you're still doing good. Right now, you're still holding. This is your current 8 hour structure level to get a close below. It looks like it's trying to go lower. I'm not even going to lie about it. So let's put a level right here. So these are the two levels that I would want to see support formed. Anything lower than I might have to back off of it a little bit. Well, I don't know. This thing's been so bullish, it could pull back all the way to here and still look bullish. Yeah, but for the near term, for the this week incoming, look for 21 spot 711 or 19 spot 79 for support. All right, everybody. Hang on. Let me read this last comment. Thanks a lot, Heath. Love your teachings, by the way. Try to use the everyone again in the C.T.M. I notice it's working when Jordan uses it. All right, I will. I will do that. Absolutely. Maybe he fixed it. It wasn't working the first time, so I quit doing it. And basically, I just let everybody know that way. So, all right, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. And for you members, I will see you shortly in the chat room. And for the rest of you, the next video I put out will possibly be a trade recap. So stay tuned for that. Trade safe, trade smart, and happy trading.